Alright, first stream on this channel. I have been streaming over on Twitch, and then moving the videos over to this channel, but this saves me a little bit of time because then I don't have to move the videos over. And this is probably what I'll be streaming from now on. Anyway, was working on this website of my for my friend. He just released an album yesterday, and it's candlestandmusic.com. The goal was to have it so that you could go to the album page and then click play on a song, and it would continue playing, and you could navigate around the site and pick a different song if you wanted to. But if you didn't pick a different song, and just keep playing that album from the song that you selected. Now, if you think about what's going on there, if you're trying to move around the site and have the music keep playing, what you essentially need is a single page application. And Astro wasn't necessarily made for building single page applications. It was made for building server-side rendered or server-side generated applications, or websites rather. However, a new feature released in Astro 3 was view transitions, and that's the big thing that everybody's talking about in Astro 3. But what that really enables at the core of it is single page applications. And sure, you could have done it yourself with Astro. I mean, you could just load a full single page application within any one of your routes, and then within there handle all the rest of the routing. That's not a big deal. But to essentially be able to build your website as if it was a server-side rendered website, and then simply drop in a view transitions element, and then get single page application functionality is pretty cool. So, how does that work? Over here in this layout page, whoops. Okay, so here's our layout. I only have one Astro for the whole site, but there's this view transition that you just stick right here in the head, and that's imported from Astro Transitions here. So you do that. Let's run this. So a little bit more about my setup here. I'm actually using Bun. Now, I've never really done a whole lot with Node other than just being a JavaScript runtime. That's it. Like, I haven't really even dove into like the Node.js library and working with a file system occasionally, but not very much. So Bun as a runtime has been a very easy drop-in replacement, and then Bun as a package installer is fantastic. Like, it is very noticeably faster in both the runtime and the package manager aspect. Anyway, so here's Bun run Astro. Whoops. And the other thing is it works out of the box with Astro, surprisingly. Okay, still not doing that correct. Bun run dev is what it is, because the script in the package JSON is dev, which behind the scenes runs this Astro dev thing. Okay, so that's up and running, and I love that Astro changed their URL to or their default port to 4321, like you're taking off. Astro's great. I probably see myself using Astro for quite a lot of things in the future. Not that I do a whole lot of things, but it's been a breeze to work with, and I really enjoy it. Not to say that I haven't had some issues. And so actually one of the things we'll talk about today is one of the issues I've been having. So that's how feasible is it to do an SPA in Astro. So here's the thing. I want to have this little music player up there. So here's what they were showing. I think I have a example of one of these. Let's see. I have this audio player, which is an Astro file. So let's uncomment out this bit here. And let me open up what that audio player looks like. Oh yeah, I tried all this wacky stuff. So for now, what I'm gonna do, none of this stuff matters. Just gonna get rid of all that. Get rid of this. Okay. So we've got this one audio that's going to play, and let's save the layout as well. And there's a little counter here that I built in Svelte. I'm pretty new to Svelte too, but I've been enjoying that a little bit as well. Okay, Lang CSS, what's going on here? Post CSS. Unknown word, interesting. Not sure what that is. Guess I don't need that either. I'm not using that either. Okay, so this is saying plugin Vite CSS is having issues. Let me restart the server. Okay, this wasn't happening a little while ago. I don't know what's going on now. No build errors this time, so. Or did I speak too soon? CSS syntax error. That's interesting. Okay, now it's happy. Although this was happening before, where I had this like icons doing something weird. Let me restart one more time and see if it likes it this time. I'm gonna let this kind of load a little bit longer before opening the site here. So I don't know if this comes across on the stream, but when I switch back and forth between our virtual desktops, there's a little bit of a sliding animation. And this is one of the issues that I had with Astro, actually. That sliding animation, I think, is kind of annoying. And so I would like to turn it off. And there's a way to turn it off in Windows. And that is this little box called Stop Animations in Windows or something like that. And it stops the animations. It's great. The thing is, it also toggles the preference in your web browser for prefers reduced motion. And I really think that should be a separate setting somewhere else, because I just want to not have that animation in Windows. But I'd like to have my nice animations on the website. And unfortunately, it turns that off. But strangely enough, it doesn't. I don't know if you see this, but there's a bit of a fade animation. Do you see that fade animation? So that fade animation is not just lagginess in the stream, which I'm sure there's lagginess in the stream. I'm not on the most powerful network or connection or computer. However, there is actually a animation occurring, and that is there even if I have prefers reduced motion. So anyway, so that audio. Oh, okay. Let me get the controls on this so that we can actually see it here. So we'll put the controls on this. Controls. There we go. And we'll play the song.
You're live.
There it goes. So that audio is playing. Okay, and you see when I change the page there, the audio stopped. Now I thought this was working before. Okay, we got transition persist. Let's say equals player. Maybe it needed the player in there. But at one point I thought we had a version of this that was actually working and maintaining state like it's supposed to. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, audio's playing. Navigate around. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to the lyrics page for this song. Going back to the album. Going to the lyrics page here. It's all playing. Hopefully my friend doesn't copyright strike this video because I'm playing his song on here. Or YouTube doesn't do it automatically because it is a published song. Anyway, Noah, if you're watching this, thanks for letting me use your audio. All right. So here's the issue that I was having. What I was really trying to do here, okay, is have this audio player thing that I've built in Svelte. Okay, let's comment that one out now. And then that audio player has gone through so many iterations because I was banging my head trying to get this working and I couldn't figure it out. But that one is the one that actually has the audio on it, right? So here's what happens when I do that. Wait for this to reload here. Okay, so here's that guy there. And let's say I go over to, oops. So long story short, it's not saving the state here. Going from page to page and it's not saving it. And that's because, okay, so I need that transition persist thing on it, right? So what I've tried doing is putting that transition persist. Well, we can't put it in here, right? Because this is an Astro a Svelte template. Here's the weird thing about Astro, right? You can put any component in there. You could put web components, you could put React components, Svelte components, and you can, what's even crazier, like, okay, so do I have the slot here? Yeah, here. So this is a slot. This is a slot in a Svelte component. And I am placing inside that slot, and these are named slots, right? Slot equals play. I'm putting inside of that slot Astro components. So I have Astro components inside of Svelte components inside of Astro components. And you can keep doing this with that, like whatever. Actually, I can't make that claim necessarily, but I'm under the impression that you can keep nesting any components from any library within each other, and it just works. And I get these red lines. I'll probably figure out all this stuff later, but sorting out all this stuff, and it works with TypeScript and all that. It's all working nicely. Anyway, so what was going on is I can't put that directive, that's called an Astro directive, I can't put it on here because this is a Svelte template, right? So what I'd like to do, and honestly I don't really just want to put it on the element, because what really needs to be, in order to maintain the state of the Svelte component, the whole component needs to be saved in between, right? And that was kind of the conclusion I was coming to, is I thought that I thought it was saving the state, and it really wasn't, because it was wiping out, it was remounting the Svelte component every time. So that was the crux of my issue when I was having this problem. So let's go over here. And so I do have, you see here, audio player transition persist audio player, right? And so for some reason that's not working. And here's what I think was going on when I was having the issue. And see if this follows the train of thought here. This audio player is the Astro audio player, right? That's this guy here. That audio player is simply rendering the Svelte audio player. The Svelte audio player then renders this audio, this p tag, and this button. Okay, so in Svelte you don't need fragments. You can just, like in React you need to enclose in that like empty bracket thing, right? You don't need to do that. You can just, and what I mean by that, right, is it's not even adding a wrapper div, right? Svelte is actually just rendering these elements, and it's not actually wrapping it in another level. Same thing with Astro. Astro is not, if I can just, whatever I put here, it's just rendering that, and it's not wrapping it. And so that's the crux of the issue here, is this directive is not being put on anything, right? Because it's not being put on, this audio player isn't actually an element, right? It's just a wrapper for this Svelte component, and then this Svelte component is just a wrapper for these three elements. And since it's not adding a wrapper element, it's not going to put that directive on any one of these elements. So here's my idea. What if I simply put a div here. Oh, Emmett's not working with me today. Here it is. And this is an Astro component, right? So I can put that directive here now. All right, and in order to kind of demonstrate this working a little better, I'm going to go back to the, I guess it's this page, I think, probably in the albums. Let me pause this real quick. It's not auto-playing, but there's this other issue that we'll have to sort out later with this. When you subscribe to a Svelte store, the initial subscription fires off, and anyway, we'll get to that. So we do that, and then we'll go back to this page, and you'll see this little where did my little play button go? Play song, there it is. I thought I just commented it out, but apparently I got rid of it. I like to just go back in my code and figure out what code I deleted then. Maybe it's one commit back. There's probably some smart way to just do this locally in Git, but I'm not that well versed in Git. Anyway. Where's that play button? Here it is. Save that, and then let's just make sure that play button is doing what it's supposed to do. Play song.svelte. I can get rid of that. Basically just want to set the album and song. Okay. So that's going to autoplay again. Alright, so these play buttons are back. So here's the deal. Now when I press play here, you should start playing that song. So that was the one that we were playing before. And look at that. It keeps playing as I'm navigating around. It's very cool. Okay, so now what we want is to play here, and it starts playing that song. Cool. Okay, so we're in good shape now. That's pretty much all I had to do. Was it took me so long to think through what may have been the issue, and this directive was being placed on, or more specifically, this directive right here, which I thought would work, was being placed on nothing at all. So let's get rid of that. I suppose we could just put it on the element above it. I think that element above it is supposed to be for, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it on where it is in that wrapper Astro thing. We may want to do more stuff inside of here anyway. Okay. Cool. All right. So now that we've solved that issue, let's go continue and solve the rest of these issues that we're having. First of all, this used to be an inline thing there. Don't know what I changed. Oh, you know what? Because I wrapped this in a div, I think that's why the styles are getting messed up, right? Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Okay. So then we can just move this guy to its parent in the layout. And get rid of this wrapper. Okay, we'll let that play for a bit. Navigate around. And we're good. Excellent. Okay, so now we don't want that to autoplay. Solve that first. Actually, let's solve that as the first thing we do, because then it'll make the refreshing thing less annoying. So what's going on here is, like, we're telling it to play is false there, right? So autoplay, or is playing, is equal to false there. There is a tag on, or an attribute in the HTML thing element here called autoplay, but we're not including that. So no issues there. This really should be MP3 actually. And then, so none of that's going on. And actually I'm kind of surprised that it's even playing, because autoplay, maybe it's just having the attribute, but there's something about, like, autoplay doesn't work until the user has interacted with the website. So I don't really know how that's even working. Maybe it's because it's hot module reloaded, and the browser thinks that I'm still in the previous session and that I previously already interacted with it. I don't know. I'll just conjecture. But so what's going on here is we subscribe to the store, and that store is what allows us to, like, anywhere, you know, this element's up here on this page, but on any other page where I have these plus or play buttons rather, we can just fire off to the store. This is the album, this is the song, and we could subscribe to that store, which is what we're doing here. And when we subscribe, you know, we'll get notified that the album and song have changed, and then we can set the source appropriately. So that's all working, right? Like, there's setting the song right there. So that works. Player load is playing true, and then we play. Problem is that this subscription gets fired off as soon as you subscribe, essentially. And that first time, so I've seen people do this. They say, let's see, the first time that they subscribe. Let's see. On mount, we subscribe, and that's probably another problem, is that I'm doing this on mount. But the reason why I'm doing it on mount is, if I do this outside of the on mount, it happens before the mount, and before the mount, player, which is bound to this audio element, isn't bound yet. And so when I try and reference player, it fails. Now, truthfully, actually, you know, these two issues kind of go hand in hand, because truthfully, that player should never even be saying load or play on that player until someone's actually interacted with it by pressing the play button, or by pressing a play or pause button, right? So let's actually take that out of there. Stick that there. And then let's solve our other issue here. We'll say let oh, you know what? There's another thing that we're supposed to do, which is destroy this subscription on destroy, right? So what we can do is we can say let unsubscribe. We're going to kill two birds with one stone here. Feed two birds with one stone. We're going to say unsubscribe equals current song dot subscribe. And then we're going to say if track name is not equal to song and unsubscribe. So in other words, if unsubscribe is falsy, in other words, it doesn't have a subscription assigned to it yet, then we shouldn't do anything underneath that. And then on mounts, we don't need to do actually anything right anymore. And then we'll do on destroy unsubscribe. Now I'm brand new to Svelte, so I don't know if any of that's correct. But we'll click play on this guy. Navigate around a bit. It's happy. Search Me, O God is playing now. That's happy. Refresh the page. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Okay, that's exactly what I want to do. So I don't think we need the on mount anymore. And on destroy, we're unsubscribing as we're supposed to. Very cool. Okay. I'll probably keep working on it tonight, but I'll probably end the stream here. I think it's really cool that you can build SPAs as if you're just building a server-side rendered site. I love that we're back in the age of that style of server-side stuff. Started doing web development back in the PHP days, and it's kind of a breath of fresh air from all the client-side heavy SPA framework stuff. So anyway, if you have been, thanks for watching.